Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive, where we take you on another exciting journey into the world of sports.
That's right. We're going to go dump on all things athletics today.
Exactly. So if you're ready to explore the latest and greatest in the sporting world,
buckle up.
Then stick with us today as we break down the most compelling stories from the pitch, the track, the court, you name it.
We've got a really diverse set of sources today, spanning from the Premier League and the exciting world of MotoGP to the tennis court and even some NBA action.
All right, so let's kick things off with some football news. And we're going to start with the Premier League.
Sounds good.
And specifically, we'll start with Arsenal.
All right.
Manager Mikel Arteta, he recently gave a press conference, and there's a lot to unpack.
There is.
But the big news for Arsenal fans is Bukayo Saka is reportedly ready to go.
Wow.
After 3 months out injured.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, this is a massive boost for Arsenal as they, head into a crucial part of the season.
Yeah, he's such a crucial player for them.
And to have him back, potentially even for that Fulham game, is really going to add so much energy to their attack.
Yeah, he adds a different dimension when he's on the pitch.
Oh, for sure.
And it comes at a really vital time considering all their commitments.
Yeah, they've got a lot on their plate right now.
Well, particularly they've got that Champions League clash coming up against none other than Real Madrid.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah, quarterfinals. First leg is at the Emirates on April 8th.
Right.
Return leg in Madrid on the 16th.
Wow.
So that is a tough challenge as you can get at this stage in European football.
As tough as it gets.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Real Madrid...
They're the kings of Europe.
They're the kings of Europe, and their pedigree in the Champions League is just phenomenal.
And the path ahead doesn't get any easier.
No.
They're going to face either PSG or Aston Villa after that.
Huge
games.
Arsenal... if they want to progress, they're going to have to overcome some very serious obstacles.
Absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Aston Villa, we will touch on their FA Cup run a little bit later.
Okay.
But sticking with Arsenal for a moment.
Sure.
The international break was pretty eventful for their players.
Oh, yeah. A lot of action.
I mean, 18-year-old Miles Lewis-Skelly scored on his debut for England.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, what a moment for him.
Absolutely. And a great sign of the talent that Arsenal are producing right now.
Yeah, the future looks bright.
Very bright.
And Declan Rice got an assist for England as well.
Of course, yeah.
Mikel Merino, who actually scored against Chelsea recently, was on the score sheet for Spain.
Amazing.
And even netted a penalty in a shootout as well.
Wow.
And then Martin Odegaard.
Oh, yeah, Odegaard.
Had a pretty spectacular break for Norway, didn't he?
He did.
He provided an assist in one game and then a hat trick of assists in a World Cup qualifier.
Hat trick of assists? That's incredible.
It's pretty phenomenal.
What a player.
Yeah, really showing his creative influence there.
Absolutely. He is the creative heart of that Arsenal team.
Yeah, but it wasn't all positive for Arsenal.
Oh, no.
During the international break.
What happened?
Ricardo Calafiori, he picked up an injury while playing for Italy.
Oh.
And missed their subsequent match.
Hopefully it's not too serious.
Yeah, hopefully not a long-term issue for him.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears now.
Okay.
To some potential transfer news.
Oh, this is always fun.
Surrounding Arsenal.
Always juicy.
There's been a lot of talk
about
them signing a new striker.
Yeah.
And a name that keeps popping up is Victor Gyökeres.
Gyökeres. Now, where have I heard that name before?
From Sporting.
How do they?
And he is having a phenomenal season.
What's he done?
30 league goals and 6 in the Champions League.
That's a lot of goals.
It's a lot of goals.
36 goals. That's more than a goal a game.
I mean, that kind of firepower is invaluable.
For any team, he'd be a great addition.
Yeah, what's particularly interesting about this potential move is the involvement of Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta.
Andrea Berta. He's a big name.
Yeah, he's been a long-time admirer.
I see.
Of Gyökeres, and, he's got a proven track record of identifying and securing talent.
Huge signings at Atletico.
Right, so he might be the driving force behind this deal.
So Arsenal fans should be excited about this.
Absolutely, and Alex Howell from BBC Sport, he's pointed out that Arsenal really need to bolster their forward line.
Makes sense. They haven't signed a striker in the last 2 transfer windows.
Yeah, and they haven't really replaced Aubameyang.
That's true.
So it's definitely an area they need to address.
Makes sense.
Howell also mentioned RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko.
Oh, yeah, he's a promising young player.
And Newcastle's Alexander Isak as potential targets.
I like Isak. He's got great pace and a good eye for goal.
Yeah, so it seems they're definitely in the market for a forward.
Interesting.
And, it's not just about bringing new players in.
Right.
Arsenal also need to focus on securing the futures of some of their key players like Saka, Saliba, and Gabriel.
Oh, yeah. They're all entering the last 2 years of their contracts.
Yeah.
Gotta get those renewals sorted.
Gotta get those contracts sorted out.
For sure.
They're crucial to Arsenal's success, both defensively and offensively.
Absolutely. Those three are the backbone of the team.
No, Howell, he also mentioned that Alexander Zinchenko's future at the club is a bit uncertain.
Oh, really?
It seems his place in the pecking order has dropped.
I see.
And apparently Arsenal were even open to letting him go in January.
Interesting. So Arteta might be looking to shake things up in defense?
Yeah, perhaps.
Makes sense.
So let's talk a bit more about this new sporting director, Andrea Berta.
Okay, yeah.
He's coming in to replace Edu.
Right.
And his work at Atletico Madrid is really impressive.
It is very impressive.
He played a key role in bringing in players like Antoine Griezmann, Rodri Black.
Wow, those are some big names.
Yeah, and all of those signings were massively successful.
They were.
So he knows how to spot talent.
He knows how to spot talent, but more importantly,
he understands how to find players that fit a specific system.
Right. That's crucial.
That's crucial, and that's what Arsenal are hoping for under Arteta.
Yeah, they need someone who can work closely with the manager and bring in the right pieces.
Exactly. And Berka's reputation is built on making astute signings that align with a tactical vision.
He did that perfectly with Simeone at Atletico.
Right. So now the question is, can he replicate that success at Arsenal?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to this new environment.
Yeah, Arsenal fans will definitely be watching his every move.
All right, so for Arsenal, the immediate focus is closing that gap on Liverpool.
12 points is a big gap.
It is a big gap.
But there's still a lot of football to be played.
There is.
You never know.
Their next league match is against Fulham.
Okay.
And interestingly, Fulham are unbeaten in their last 3 league encounters with Arsenal.
Really?
But it's not going to be an easy game.
No. Fulham have been a tough opponent for them recently.
Yeah.
They've got a bit of a bogey team there.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal respond because their last league game was a hard-fought 1-0 victory against Chelsea.
Right, with that goal from Marino. So they'll be looking to build on that.
Exactly, but they'll need to be wary of Fulham.
For sure.
Now, one last thing on Arsenal.
Okay.
There's been a lot of talk amongst the fans about this proposed preseason friendly against Tottenham Hotspur in Hong Kong in July.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And the reactions seem to be pretty mixed.
Really? Why is that?
Well, a lot of fans are questioning the logic of playing such a high-stakes match so far away during preseason.
Yeah.
They're worried about potential injuries
and,
the disruption to their preparations.
And it's such a long way to travel for a friendly.
It is, and especially, considering how busy their schedule can get with domestic cups and replays.
Yeah, it's a valid concern.
It's definitely generated a lot of debate amongst the fans.
I bet it has.
Okay, let's move on now
from
the Premier League, and let's head over to Germany and check in with Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, how's he doing?
At Bayern Munich.
Right.
He recently reached a significant milestone.
Oh, what's that?
He scored against St. Pauli.
Right.
Which means he has now scored against all 19 Bundesliga clubs he's faced.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's a testament to his incredible consistency.
It really is. He just keeps scoring goals wherever he goes.
And only Miroslav Klose has scored against more Bundesliga teams.
Klose, he's a legend.
Yeah, a true legend of the game.
Yeah.
And it's actually a repeat of his achievement in the Premier League.
Really?
He scored against all 32 clubs he faced there as well.
That's incredible. So he's conquered both leagues.
Yeah, that kind of adaptability and, his goal-scoring prowess across 2 of Europe's top leagues.
It's remarkable.
It really is remarkable.
Very few players can do that.
And that goal against St. Pauli, it wasn't just a statistical landmark.
Oh, right. What else?
It also ended a 5-game goal drought for him.
Ah, so he was due a goal.
Yeah, and it was his 22nd Bundesliga goal of the season.
Wow.
Putting him at the top of the scoring charts.
So he's leading the way.
Yeah, so it was a really important goal for him on multiple levels.
Absolutely. Kept their title challenge on track.
Yeah, that victory against St. Pauli 3-2, it maintains their 6-point lead at the top of the Bundesliga with just 7 games remaining.
So they're in a good position.
They're in a really strong position to win the title.
That would be his first major trophy, wouldn't it?
It would be his first major trophy, and,
Yeah.
His goal-scoring record since joining Bayern in August 2023.
All right, let's hear it.
It's pretty astounding.
Okay.
58 goals in 57 Bundesliga appearances.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's more than any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues.
He's even outscoring Mbappe and Haaland.
In all competitions since the start of last season.
Those are some big names to be outscoring.
I know. And, at 31 years old, that hunger for a major trophy.
It must be burning.
Must be really intense.
Yeah, especially at this stage in his career.
And Bayern, they're in a commanding position in the Bundesliga.
Hey.
And as we discussed earlier, they're in the Champions League quarterfinals as well.
Facing Inter
Milan.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, so he's got 2 very real chances to lift some silverware this season.
That would be amazing to see.
It would be amazing to see. And, it's interesting.
What's that?
The BBC report we've got here.
Yeah.
It actually mentions some other incredible players who, despite having fantastic careers, never won a major trophy.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
Like Matt Letizia.
Oh, yeah. Letizia.
Antonio Di Natale.
He was a great player.
Yeah. And it really highlights how team success can sometimes define a player's legacy.
It's true. Individual brilliance is one thing.
Right.
But winning trophies,
it adds
that extra layer of prestige.
Yeah, it really cements your place in history.
For sure.
So for Kane breaking that barrier, winning that first major trophy, it would be a monumental moment.
It really would.
In his already illustrious career.
Absolutely.
Now, what about this ongoing speculation about a potential return to the Premier League?
A Premier League return.
To chase down Alan Shearer's all-time scoring record.
He's got 213 goals.
Yeah, and Shearer has 260.
Okay.
So it's a significant gap.
It is.
But it's not insurmountable for a player of Kane's caliber.
No, definitely not. If anyone can do it, it's him.
He's under contract with Bayern until 2027.
Right.
And he has said he's enjoying his time there.
Of course.
But that Shearer record, it's a massive draw.
It's a huge draw.
For any striker who's played in the Premier League.
Yeah, and to be the all-time top scorer in the Premier League.
It's a huge achievement.
Yeah, that would be legendary status.
Yeah. So if he achieves success at Bayern, that pull to come back to England and break that record,
it's going to be strong.
It might be too strong to resist.
Interesting.
And there have been some whispers about Liverpool being a potential destination.
Liverpool, that would be an interesting move.
It would be.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah. So it's definitely a storyline worth following.
Absolutely. Want to keep an eye on.
All right, let's shift gears again now and head to the world of MotoGP.
All right, MotoGP, let's go.
And the America's Grand Prix.
I heard it was a crazy race.
It was a race filled with drama and pretty significant upset.
Upset who won?
Well, Francesco Bagnaia of Ducati.
Bagnaia, okay.
He took the victory.
All right.
But it came after a crash.
A crash?
From Marquez?
No way Marquez crashed.
Who was actually leading the race at the time.
Wow, so Marquez didn't win.
No, this was actually his first loss of the season.
He'd been dominant up to this point, hadn't he?
Yeah, he'd secured pole position and won the sprint race on Saturday.
This is what happened in the main race.
Well, he had a fantastic start. He built up a lead of over a second.
Wow.
In the early laps, he was setting new race lap records.
It sounded like he was in complete control.
Yeah, he looked unstoppable.
So how did he crash?
Well, it was about halfway through the race on lap 9.
Yeah.
He just lost control and slid off the track.
Oh, no.
He did manage to remount his bike.
Okay.
And he tried to continue, but the damage was too much.
Right.
And he eventually had to retire.
So Bukayo was there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, he was already in second place behind Marquez.
Yeah.
So when Marquez crashed, he inherited the lead and he held on to it until the finish line.
What a turn of events.
But here's the really interesting twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Even though Bagnaia won the race, it's actually Marquez's younger brother, Alex Marquez.
No way.
Who now leads the championship.
How did that happen?
Well, he finished second in the race.
Okay.
And he's been so consistent this season.
So consistency is key.
Yeah, it really is paying off for him.
Wow. So a Ducati rider wins the race. Another Ducati rider takes the championship lead.
Yeah. And to top it off, Fabio Di Giannantonio.
Another Ducati.
On another Ducati completed the podium.
Wow, so a clean sweep for Ducati.
Yeah, a clean sweep for the Italian manufacturer.
That's impressive.
It was a dominant performance from them.
Absolutely.
And the race itself, it was pretty chaotic even before the start.
Oh, why is that?
Well, the track conditions were very tricky.
Okay.
It was drying out.
Right.
So there were a lot of last-minute tire changes.
From wet to slick tires.
Yeah, and it actually led to a red flag and a restart.
Wow. So a lot of drama even before the race began.
Yeah, it was a very unpredictable and exciting race.
Sounds like it.
All right, let's move on now.
Okay.
From the high-octane world of MotoGP
Sure.
to the tennis court.
Tennis has been happening.
And the Miami Open.
All right, Miami Open.
We saw a pretty incredible result.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
19-year-old Jakub Mensik.
Mensik? I don't think I know him.
From the Czech Republic. He won his first ever ATP title.
Wow, first title.
By defeating Novak Djokovic.
What, he beat Djokovic in the final?
That's a massive upset.
It's a huge upset.
Wow, Djokovic was going for his 100th title, wasn't he?
He was. So this is a career-defining moment for Mensik.
Absolutely, and a big disappointment for Djokovic.
But the backstory to Mensik's victory is even more amazing.
Okay, I'm all ears. What happened?
You're not going to believe this.
Tell me.
He was actually on the verge of withdrawing from the tournament.
What? Wow.
Before his first match.
Before his first match.
Because of severe inflammation in his right knee.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
He was in so much pain
that
he actually went to the referee's office to withdraw.
So what happened?
Well, as luck would have it, the referee was at lunch.
He was at lunch.
So Mensik decided to see a physiotherapist instead.
Okay.
And the physio examined his knee.
Yeah.
And remarkably said it wasn't a serious injury.
Wow. So he decided to play.
Yeah, he decided to play through the pain. That's incredible.
And he even admitted that he could barely walk or run properly on the first day.
Wow. Talk about playing through adversity.
Yeah, it's an incredible story of resilience.
It really is.
To go from almost withdrawing to winning the whole tournament.
And beating Djokovic.
Beating Djokovic in the final.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
And he had already beaten 2 other top 10 players.
Who else did he beat?
Jack Draper and Taylor Fritz.
Wow, so 3 top 10 players.
On his way to the final.
That's a phenomenal achievement.
It really is. And he defeated Djokovic in straight sets.
Straight.
2 very tight 7-6 tie breaks.
Oh, wow. So he held his nerve in the big moments.
Yeah, he really showed his mental strength.
Absolutely.
And remember, he only broke into the top 100.
Yeah, you said that.
In February this year.
Yeah.
And now he's a Masters 1000 champion.
That's a meteoric rise.
It really is. What a story.
And the final itself was delayed by over 5 hours because of rain.
5 hours? That's a long delay. It is. And those kinds of delays can really disrupt a player's focus and rhythm.
Absolutely. It's tough to stay mentally sharp after a break like that.
Yeah. And Djokovic, he seemed to have a bit of a rough start.
Oh, really?
He slipped a couple of times.
Oh, no.
And he was struggling with his grip because of the humidity.
Yeah, humidity can make the racket slippery.
Yeah, and Mensik, he just took advantage of that.
Yeah, he capitalized on Djokovic's struggles.
Now, Djokovic might not have been at his best.
Right.
But you still can't take anything away from Mensik's achievement.
Absolutely not. He still had to beat Djokovic.
Exactly. And he actually showed improvement from a previous match against Djokovic where he won the first set but ended up losing.
Yeah, I remember that match.
This time he closed it out.
Very impressive.
He didn't face a single break point in the second set.
Wow, so he was serving lights out.
He was, and he held his nerve in those crucial tie breaks.
He did. He showed incredible composure.
And Djokovic was very complimentary of Mensik after the match.
Oh, really? What did he say?
He said that Mensik is
quote-unquote
one of the few players I would be happier to lose to.
Wow, that's high praise from Djokovic.
Yeah, he was obviously disappointed not to win his 100th title.
Of course.
But he recognized the significance of Mensik's win.
Yeah, it's the changing of the guard in a way.
Yeah, and he was genuinely pleased to see this young talent fulfilling his potential.
That's great to see that kind of sportsmanship.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on now from the tennis court to, a more physical encounter.
Oh, was this?
On the basketball court.
Okay, basketball.
Yeah, we've got reports of a pretty fiery game.
Fiery, what do you mean?
In the NBA.
Okay.
Between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, wow.
And it actually resulted in multiple ejections.
Ejections? What happened?
Because of a brawl.
A brawl? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected.
Wow, that's a lot of ejections.
During Minnesota's 123-104 win.
So they won despite the brawl.
They did, and the incident occurred in the second quarter.
Right.
After Minnesota's Naz Reid reacted to being bumped
Bumped by who?
By Detroit's Ron Holland.
Ron Holland.
And it started as a relatively minor physical altercation.
Okay.
But it just escalated very quickly.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it turned into a full-blown melee.
Wow.
It actually spilled over into the spectator seats.
Oh, my goodness.
And team personnel had to intervene to separate the players.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and even after the initial outbreak,
right,
there were still some tensions bubbling under the surface.
Who got ejected?
So from the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland, and Marcus Sasser.
Okay.
And for Minnesota, it was Naz Reid.
Right.
And Dante DiVincenzo.
And the coaches.
And yeah, Detroit head coach John Blair Bickerstaff.
Okay.
And a Timberwolves assistant coach, Pablo Prigioni, were also ejected.
Wow, so both coaches got involved.
Yeah, it seems there are conflicting accounts, though,
okay,
about what actually triggered the brawl.
So what do they say?
Well, Bickerstaff, he claims that Prigioni insulted his players.
Oh, wow.
And that's what caused the escalation.
Oh.
But Minnesota's head coach, Chris Finch, he said that the game had been way too physical leading up to the incident.
Yeah, so he's blaming the overall physicality of the game.
Yeah. So he's basically saying that an incident like this was almost inevitable.
It's interesting how both sides have different perspectives on what happened.
Yeah, it just goes to show how quickly things can get out of hand.
Yeah, when emotions are running high.
In the heat of competition.
Especially in a high-stakes game like that.
All right, finally.
Okay.
Let's move away from the specific games and results.
Sure.
And take a broader look at the role of sport in society.
Okay. It's an important topic.
We've got a really interesting piece here from Gareth Southgate.
Gareth Southgate, the former England manager.
Yeah, he's talking about the need for positive role models for young men.
That's a crucial topic, especially in today's world.
Yeah, he's drawing on research from the Center for Social Justice. They have a paper called Lost Boys.
Lost Boys?
And also referencing the Netflix series Adolescence.
Interesting.
And he argues that the decline of community bonds and the lack of mentors are contributing to young men struggling to express their emotions.
That's a really important point.
And navigate the challenges of growing up.
Absolutely.
And he believes that sport has a huge opportunity to provide a positive alternative to what he calls quote, toxic influencers. And they're often harmful portrayals of masculinity.
Yeah, I think that's a really important distinction to make.
He's advocating for sport to focus on a sense of purpose that goes beyond just winning.
So more than just the scoreboard.
Exactly. It's about human connection and helping young people reach their full potential.
Yeah, those are valuable life lessons.
And he stresses the importance of listening.
Listening to who?
To young people who participate in sport.
Yeah, that's so important to hear their voices.
What's particularly interesting is his suggestion
what's that?
For a national mapping initiative.
National mapping initiative.
To make sure that no young person is excluded from sporting opportunities.
Yeah.
He's emphasizing building connections and collaboration within the existing sporting landscape.
So it's not just about more funding.
Exactly. It's about making the most of what we already have.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And working together to create a more inclusive environment.
Absolutely.
And he also highlights the work of organizations like boxing clubs that provide crucial support networks.
Yeah, those community hubs are so valuable.
In disadvantaged areas.
Yeah, they can be a lifeline for young people.
He also talks about the need for innovation in coaching. Suggesting that coaches should develop skills in youth work and mental health awareness.
Yeah.
So it's about going beyond just the technical aspects of the sport.
Right, it's about developing the whole person.
Exactly, and prioritizing the well-being. Yeah.
Of the players over just the final score.
That's a really important shift in focus.
And he specifically mentions the work of Greenhouse Sports.
Greenhouse Sports?
They're coach mentors.
Yeah.
They operate in deprived areas. And they focus on coaching life skills.
Wow, that's amazing.
Alongside the sport itself.
Yeah, so it's about equipping them with the tools they need to succeed in life.
Exactly. And he also highlights the True Athlete Project.
The True Athlete Project.
They use mindfulness techniques in sport
to
promote a more holistic approach to development.
Yeah, that's really important to help athletes manage their mental and emotional well-being.
So ultimately, Southgate's message is a call to action. For the entire sporting community. To recognize and support those coaches and volunteers. Expert speaker.